Happy Tuesday, everyone. Today's a special day. We have come to the end of our book, Look Both Ways. So we're at the final story, but before we get to that, just a little FYI. I feel like everyone probably already knows this. 12-week grades are, teachers have to submit 12-week grades next week. So I will wait until Monday to submit grades. So if you're trying to maybe raise your grade, maybe improve it, keep yourself out of trouble, keep your phone, etc. I'm totally willing to be patient. Just try to hook me up, and I'll definitely hook you up. Okay. But yeah, 6 more weeks, and then winter vacation, and on to second semester. So hopefully, I'm not sending anyone to summer school. That'd be a bummer, but. Yeah, just don't put me in that position, okay? All right. So let's get to our book. The final story takes place on the corner of Portal Avenue, the same street that we started with. And the story is called The Broom Dog. Now, I feel like maybe some of you, hopefully all of you, have maybe noticed that there's always been a school bus falling from the sky and like all these stories. It's really weird, right? Well, in this story, everything is going to be explained. So let's get to the Broom Dog, and let's talk about that for a second. As long as I've taught this story, I've analyzed this chapter a lot because I was always wondering, like, what is a school bus falling from the sky? This motif. The word motif in literature means this recurring thing, whether it's a picture, a phrase, a visual. It's just something that continues to come up. You know, you see it, you hear it, it's repeated. So let's focus our attention real quick on the story and the way that this story honors the often people we overlook at our school. Etowanda is a beautiful campus. You know, it definitely does get trashed during the passing periods and at lunches, but when we come back the next day, it doesn't look like that. Or if you have second lunch, the campus actually looks pretty decent after first lunch, and it's because of people like our custodians. When you were in elementary school and maybe middle school, you also had these amazing people called crossing guards to help you get across the street and to make sure that you got to school safely. But we don't really think about these individuals in the same way that we think about teachers or the principal. But these individuals are the unsung heroes of our school, and they play a prominent role in this story. Because this chapter has a beautiful scene where the custodian, his name is Mr. Munch, he consoles our main character, Canton, because Canton's mother is a crossing guard, and something happens to his mother, to Canton's mom. And Mr. Munch takes a ordinary object and he turns it into something that will provide Canton with emotional comfort. You know, some sort of security blanket, because the kid's, he's messed up, man. He's definitely messed up after watching something happen to his mom. And really what Mr. Munch does is he demonstrates both this I don't even really know what the word is, but just this desire to help Canton feel cared for. And he does it in a creative way, which it brings Canton some relief. Let's just say that. It does. It's kind of weird, but it brings this kid some relief and joy. This scene also echoes chapter 7, which was Sachmo's master plan, which also featured something that was used to provide emotional support. I'll give you a hint. I have two of them here in the house. Uh, it also hints back to chapter 4, which was how to look both ways, which included an umbrella that was imagined by one of our characters. If you remember, she was a lady, into a guitar. And together, these chapters put together, they demonstrate how we as the reader need to look both ways. We need to look both ways at an object. We need to look both ways at a person. And we need to look both ways at a situation. And ultimately try to do the hard work of imagining it into something new and nice, right? Again, it's very easy to get canceled. It's very easy to, feel like you're talked down to. Many of you in last week's assignment about T.S. Eliot, the writing response, when I asked you about the quote, do you think that T.S. Eliot was correct that humanity can only deal with a little bit of reality? And many of you said yes, because of people getting fear of being canceled. And again, we need to be able to look both ways. Excuse me, I forgot to turn my phone off. So let's get to the Broom Dog and what is this thing? And so every chapter of Look Both Ways has had this reference to a school bus falling from the sky, but we never knew what it was. We didn't know if the author, Mr. Reynolds, was just playing us. He never told us, but until now. Because the literal origin of the phrase is not revealed until this chapter. What is a school bus falling from the sky? And ultimately, I'm not gonna ruin it. I'm gonna let you read first. But this book ends with the following line: that a school bus is many things. So is a walk home. And I want you to think about that. A school bus is many things. So is a walk home. We read 10 stories, 10 different individuals, 10 different walk homes, or 10 different ways to walk home, or experiences of walking home. If you remember, we had the low cuts, turning 90 cents into $9 to get ice cream for a parent who was going through cancer. We had Symphony Say So Sour, who would perform her comedy show to no one in the hopes that it would bring her mother a smile. Also, how she would relate and keep memories open for her grandfather. Again, a school bus is many things. So is a walk home. Because clearly there are layers and layers of figurative meanings to this flying school bus image. But the biggest one of these meanings connects us back to this message that there is so much more to school than stereotypes. There is, man. You're not just a jock. You're not just a kid in Nash's English class versus Mrs. Eccles or Mr. Bragg's English class. You're not just a football player or a lacrosse player. You're a human being who's had all kinds of experiences and will have all kinds of experiences. Because each of you is able to innovate yourself in all different kinds of ways and be creative. The first 3 pages of this chapter, they give you a list of the different things that a school bus can be. And I hope you enjoy this list, because it could be a science lab. It could be a court of law. It could be a recording booth if you're a musician. And each of these items in the list highlights the inventive power of you, young people, young minds, your ability to imagine, your ability to create. And what I love about the phrase, a school bus falling from the sky, is that it cleverly tricks the reader, even the adult, even this seasoned old dude who teaches English, by activating negative scripts. And what I mean by that is, for the entire book, first time I read this, I was terrified there was going to be a horrible car crash somewhere involving a bus. That's what I thought. I really thought this school bus falling from the sky was that it fell off a rock cliff, or it fell off an overpass, or it fell off a bridge. I thought there was going to be some horrible event. And it wasn't until the end of this chapter that I realized the author, Mr. Reynolds, was just playing this idea of tragedy in my head. He was playing on me. Because ultimately, it's not a tragedy. It's a great joy that a school bus falling from the sky can be all different kinds of things. And it is a relief to come to the conclusion and see the truth about what can be imagined, the joy and the freedom of imagination. And the other aspect I really enjoyed about a school bus falling from the sky is that in its uniqueness and its mystery, the repeated phrase as this, what do I want to say? It's like this magical realism, because it is. There's an object that's falling from the sky, and it's interpreted in all different types of ways. And it does provide that magic, that interpretation, that innovation, that creativity of a real object experiencing gravity. You know, and throughout this whole book, each chapter I would wonder, would the characters suddenly be able to fly? Would houses levitate? Indeed, the sense of magic is true to the school experience. Because what is stranger and more mystical than your own body and mind morphing during your teenage years? It changes. You're going to get bigger. You're going to get stronger. Your voice is going to change. Your maturity level will change. Your friends might change. Your attitude might change. The way that you view the world might change. It's a wonderful time to be alive as a teenager, because nothing is going to stay the same. And to end this video, the final meaning of the school bus falling from the sky is that the message that these 10 students that you read about, their stories are universal. Look, you could drop any school bus from any part of the country out of the sky and follow these kids home and find the same basic elements: love, fear, discovery, innovation. Yes, these stories are based, on Mr. Reynolds' actual experiences of growing up in Washington, D.C. As a kid in the 90s. But any student, especially who attends public school in America, or maybe even around the world, could recognize themselves in some part of this book. Again, maybe if you're outgoing, you're like Cynthia. Maybe you were like Stevie early. Maybe you knew somebody who got picked on. You never know. So that's why I really enjoy this book, and I hope you did too. So that is the end of it. Going to the assignment, there are 6 questions. There is also a thinking critically. Each reading question is worth 1 point. You do the reading questions, 6 points. Thinking critically is worth 4. 6 plus 4, total of 10. Okay? You have until Wednesday to do this. Thursday will be your right. Then we will be done with it. You do have a final exam for this book. Don't worry, it's not a test. Well, it is a test, but it's not like a traditional type of test. Okay? You'll have options. But you do have a final assignment after this week. Okay? So I'll see you, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll see you soon in person. Adios. Bye.